Hello, Dani.
Oh,
First question tonight. AB Samohan bases our ideals on our four pillars, all encompassed by culture. As CoCo, how will you implement more culture learning objectives in GBMs and or events?
well, like I said on my speech, I definitely want to take advantage or avid use of the social media this year. I had this idea of starting a series of videos throughout the year that is kind of like, I kind of wanted to do one every single month, kind of like a vlog type style, more like casual type videos, where we could talk about like historical facts that are like throughout the month, teach Tagalog words and phrases, maybe spotlight personal stories from our GBMers or e-board members. And I want to make sure that like the cultural aspect is encompassed by all four pillars by probably doing like external events with like community or social events with social, political events by like showing like what's going on in the Philippines now, academic maybe doing a workshop at HSC, that's all for culture and everything like that. But I definitely want to take advantage of our social media because I know that you both have been doing a really good job with that, and so I want to make sure that I keep that ball rolling when if I am elected for my term.
Thank you for that answer, Dani. For your next question, there is an ongoing discussion regarding the Filipino and Filipino American identity and how we, as Filipino Americans, make use of the many individual cultures of the Philippines. With the current discourse in mind, how do you plan on addressing and contributing to the conversation?
I think there's definitely, obviously, as we've all seen in the past year, there's definitely a lot of turmoil going on in the Philippines. And I think both you and my ate mai have done a really, really good job of keeping us updated on what's going on there. And I feel like one way that I would want to kind of keep like that ball rolling, especially, is doing a lot more collabs with political, only just because, like I said, there are a lot of things going on in the Philippines that sometimes we are blocked view of, especially in America being so far away from home. And so I would want to be able to like host different workshops or host different collabs and events with political for ones like I know like Atema has planned her first town hall this year. And so I want to be able to do more things like that and to make that more of a normal thing in Samahan where we're able to just talk about what's going on in the Philippines and how we can contribute to this discussion and actually make a move in the organization. Because, we are a Filipinx community, even though we are in America now, like we still have our voices, we still have the need to speak up for our people because our families are there, like our everyone that like has brought us here like come from there, right? Like so many people dear to me even come from there. And so I would very much want to elaborate on that throughout my term. And yeah, I'd say so.
Thank you, Dani.
Okay, thank you, Dani. Thank you, Cocos. Now we will have another member from Elections Committee go ahead and give you two questions from the audience.
Hi.
Bye.
Um, so for your first question from the audience, what will you do outside of Samohan to ensure that the greater SDSU community becomes enriched and educated on the complex beauty of the Filipinx people?
Um, I If I am elected CoCo, I believe that being in the CoCo position is a very educational experience, both for the GBMers or members, and both for those who are elected for the term. That is definitely one of the reasons why I did choose to run for this position because last year I would say I joined the Bulusan Center. I feel like many people might know them. They came and did some announcements at our earlier GBMs, and I was an intern for them, and I definitely started interning for them because I was very eager to finally learn about like, I was kind of curious like why Filipino history is it not very touched on, at least from what I heard in like my school, like especially going through high school, like I would say there was probably less than 2% of like any sort of Filipinx history mentioned to me in my high school career. And I think that's what hit me when I first talked to my Lola about like her experience in the Philippines last year. And so that's why I started interning and learning more about exactly our roots and where we like come from. And like there are so many like interesting facts of like Filipinx history, like the Philippine Independence Act. I didn't know that like my Lolo like was in the Navy. I thought he was just in the Navy. Like Loki, I just honestly thought he was just in the Navy because he wanted to be. But there was like, and I know that there's a lot of other people here that probably did come from military families. And I didn't even know why. But like through the Bulosan Center and through other externals that I'm hoping on joining and like asking more questions to educate myself throughout my term, I believe that I will be able to, whatchamacallit, I'll be able to learn from other people and their experiences, whether that be through historical facts that other people can show me, or like maybe some traditional dances, or how to genuinely make like traditional like Filipinx food, like all of these things that like make up what makes us Filipinx are things that I want to open myself up to, and that if I'm elected as CoCo, will start on learning right away. I already have for the past last year, and I've enjoyed every single moment about it. I've been passionate about it for so long, and so I'm ready to teach, and I'm ready to learn and educate. And yeah.
Okay. And for your second question from the audience, FCN is a big part of this role and involves communicating with multiple individuals, planning ahead, and finding creative solutions. Please give an example of a time where you have demonstrated these skills.
I would have to say, there was a show for my music studio. I've been at this music studio in San Jose called Bites and Notes for the past 15, I want to say 15 years of my life. I've been there for a really long time, but I recently just graduated from there. But one of the very last things I did at that studio was help plan our big recital showcase. We have it almost every year. And I was a senior graduating from high school, so I had to be one of the observers for it. And I had to help plan dances, plan all of these different musical acts for like group numbers. Usually those were like kids or like other group numbers, and like big dancing, like I don't know, it was just like this really, really big showcase. And I think the most stressful part about it was trying to manage everything at once. And I know that is something that the CoCo position requires heavily, especially during FCN season. I had to be able to choreograph like different dances, different songs, split up the parts equally, make sure that everyone is getting enough, like stage time and everything like that. And that also required to be able to think on your feet. There was like one girl who like completely like lost her outfit before the show, and I was like, oh shoot, what do we do here? And so eventually I was able to just like make her a new outfit with some of the old, like some of the other clothes that we had like in the back costume room. But you have to be able to think quick on your feet, which I tend to usually like be good at. And you have to be able to express your creative side. I don't know how many of you know this, but I used to be a theater performance major, and I love performing. I definitely like to embrace my creative side. So I think that's definitely something that can also contribute to FCN, is putting my input into it as a performer. And someone who has lived on the stage for the past many, many years of her life. I think that's something I would definitely be able to contribute. But yeah.